to be sharing coffee and profit share with you today with our special guest, Jamie Henley. And are we all ready to go, Andrew?
Yep.
Good. Jamie, take yourself off mute. And I was just joking with Jamie because I sent her exactly 0 questions to work off of today. So we're getting Jamie Henley unplugged, which I'm excited about. Jamie, take yourself off mute and let's get rolling. Tell us about yourself and your involvement with K-Score.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out in the field. So I was an MCA down at the Freedom office, which is where I was introduced to the K-Score program. When it initially launched, I was like, yep, we're doing that. It sounds like a huge opportunity. And so got into the K-Score world as a K-Score ambassador, working in the field. They saw that I had a little bit of passion around this subject. And so when the position opened up with KWRI to take on the operations of K-Score, that position was offered to me. So I now work at KWRI as the operations manager, and my primary focus is with the K-Score program.
Got it. Awesome. So Jamie, I remember when we were first launching K-Score, and we had like a mastermind around best practices for it. And you certainly had some great strategies. The purpose of today's conversation is for agents who are looking to grow their profit share. Just generally tell us, some don't even know what K-Score really is.
Sure.
Give us a little broad overview of what K-Score is and how an agent at Keller Williams can benefit from it.
Yeah, I think there's the most important thing to recognize with the K-Score program is that there's almost 2 pillars of the K-Score system, and that is there is free licensing, which we have partnered with Kaplan Real Estate Education on. So they provide, all the legal things, the education that is required. And then the second kind of tier there is the KW Prep program, which is much more focused on what you're actually going to be doing as you launch a real estate career, building the conversations, what's that going to feel like, how you build your database, all of those types of things that they don't teach you in real estate school, but you have to know to be able to launch a real estate business. So you kind of get both sides of the coin. As a student, you get the required education and the practical real life education of how am I actually going to do this? And the beauty of that is that as an agent, you can connect anybody anywhere in the US to this program. KW Prep is available in all 50 states. So everybody has that coaching program, which is, that's what we're known for, right? So you can offer this program to people to really plant the seed of, this is what KW has to offer. We do the coaching. We can teach you. We can help you grow your business from the very baby beginning of it to, literally wrote the book on how to be a millionaire real estate agent.
Okay, so when you talk about KW Prep, I think, why would somebody waste their time with KW Prep when they can just get the license, get into a market center, and take Ignite? Tell me where that logic does not work.
Yeah, I think the biggest point on that is that when you've gotten the license, right? If that's where you start, is I've got the license and now I'm going to start my training and coaching process, you're drinking out of a fire hose at that point. There is so much coming at you. If you are taking Ignite as a brand new agent, Ignite can be kind of heavy. And so KW Prep is almost like baby Ignite, where it gets your mindset triggered into that coaching kind of feel of they're quick videos and a quick exercise. None of it's more than like 20 minutes all encompassed. They're 5-minute videos. That's very bite-sized, right? It's triggering your brain to get into that mindset in small pieces. And so by the time they get into your market center, they understand that coaching process. They understand that it's the mindset piece or the do piece and an activity that's going to engage that lesson that they've learned. And there's 2 sides there. So then they get to Ignite and they're like, all right, I got my lesson and now here's my activities, right? The activities that are required as part of the Ignite program. They're already ready for that 2-sided approach. If they've gone through the KW Prep program, they already speak the language a little bit.
I see. Got it. who actually teaches the video? Who's on the video for KW Prep?
Yeah, so if you have not seen Molly D'Amatos in action, she is the Dean of K-Score, and she is the speaker and the coach in the KW Prep program. She is a bold coach, a math coach, and an extraordinary human. She is so engaging that we often find as part of the best practice model, we have folks watch the first 2 modules and then stop to kind of get their mindset triggered and then get them started on pre-licensing. But regularly, we have people who don't stop because Molly is so engaging that they're like, oh no, I need more. I want to connect with her more, because even though they're watching a video, you really feel the connection and her passion in the KW Prep series.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because if you do know Molly, I guess I haven't seen her much I've seen her on Zoom a lot, but I haven't seen her posting videos. My main interaction with her is when she's on stage at an event, and she is super engaging, and I could see that would translate really well and make a person want to keep going.
Yeah.
So who is K-Score the right education platform for? Like, who are your best candidates for K-Score?
You know, I think the great part about that is the highest success rates. Let me back up. This opportunity is for all. This is a huge opportunity for all. One of the glories of the K-Score program is that by reducing the cost barrier, it opens up a real estate career to people who would have never had this opportunity. Statistically, we are seeing a huge increase in people of color being able to enter through the program, women being able to enter a real estate career through the program. So we're hitting areas, lower income folks who have this opportunity to join a real estate career. So absolutely, those communities are a focus area. And also everyone, you know, real estate, you know, the best real estate careers often come from people who have that heart for service. Your nurses, your teachers, your former police officers, anyone who's really been in a service career in any type of way, they live that relationship lifestyle, which we all know is real estate's not about buying and selling homes. Real estate is about creating relationships with people. And so that's part of what KW Prep does, is it prefaces that relationship building that's going to help you launch a successful career. And so those types of people who already have that heart and that mind for service are an ideal candidate to be part of this program.
Got it. So for those who don't know, like, what's the format? I mean, what's the pre-licensing class? We understand that the prep class is a video with activities and it's 20-minute bite-sized pieces. What's the format of the pre-licensing class?
Yeah, so like I said, we have partnered with Kaplan Real Estate Education. So in states like Colorado, where we have that opportunity, as you know, we are not one of the micro licensing hour states. We have 168 licensing hours. All of that is included with the Kaplan package. But in addition to that, Colorado is kind of one of the lucky ones where we got lots of other goodies too. So there's also what's called a Q bank, which is basically like flashcard Quizlet, where you can do a 10-question quiz or a 200-question quiz, or you can focus on answers you got wrong before, or questions you haven't answered yet. There's video format. That's really a lot of times for millennials and younger folks. That video format, that platform, is something that's super engaging. And there's a whole video study program that's included. So you're getting all of the required materials, right? Everything you have to be able to sit for the exam. You've got that. And then you've also got this huge amount of other study material. And you've got that, all of it is included with the Colorado package, which is huge.
Got it. So is it self-paced, or is it, do you have to watch certain things at certain times?
Yes and no. So it is the K-Score scholarship covers the self-paced version of the course. There is, however, live online courses where you would do like a Zoom class, right? Where Russ, your instructor is Russ, and so you're meeting with Russ on Tuesday at 9:30, where it's this kind of format, which is all there, and there's several different options like that, where it's just an upgrade fee, where that base cost is covered. But if you wanted to upgrade, it's $100 or $200, depending on the package, things like that. So you've got that self-paced. You do have 6 months to complete the course, the student does. And then in addition to that, you can, oof, I've lost it. It's gone. Goodbye. I had a thought. There it goes.
Right. Do you find times where like a certain candidate isn't right to do K-score and would be better off in a different learning environment?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the nice parts, Russ, about the way we've set up the best practice model is that you're having this all starts with a one-on-one conversation, right? Where we are deciding, hey, Susan is actually interested in launching a real estate career. It's not just that somebody said the FREE word, which we don't use. And she was like, "Ooh, free thing." Susan wants to launch a real estate career. So we were having that initial conversation that this isn't just a flash in the pan. Then we're asking them to do those first 2 modules. Like I said, short video, quick exercise. This is not a big lift. If you aren't getting through those first 2 videos and those couple of exercises, this may not be a platform that's going to work for you, right? Because there is some engagement from the student's perspective that has to happen there. And some people just learn better in a person-to-person environment. That's why I think it's really important that our agents and our leaders know that that's also an option. In Colorado, like I said, you've got that live online option. Some people need that extra layer of accountability, right? Mm-hmm. And to be honest, some people need it face-to-face. Maybe I need to see Russ every week for him to say, "Hey, Jamie, you didn't show up. I got questions." And that's okay. You can still utilize KW Prep along with any school. So it fits anybody's learning style. We can really mold the program to fit any student's personality type and learning style.
That's an interesting thing I hadn't thought about before. So a person in Colorado that wants to sit in a classroom in a chair and do those 168 hours, which sounds unbelievably awful, they could still get a taste of KW training by signing up for KW Prep to go along with their other real estate school.
100%, Russ. And the nice part about that is, like you said, it gives them a taste of that training. And these are tools that they're going to need to launch that career. No matter how they get that pre-licensing education, that's only half of the puzzle if you really think about it. If you don't know how to build your database, all of that legalese and how to write a contract and all those things, they don't matter, right? If you don't have a database to touch and to nurture, then you don't have a good launching pad. And so that's really where KW Prep fits into to really build that launch, and it gets people into production faster. We've got about just over a year's worth of data at this point, where we're seeing people who take the KW Prep program versus those that didn't, right? They just went through Kaplan. We're seeing them get into production and start bringing in that commission income faster, which of course for our agent, if they're the one who brought that person into our world, means they're starting to see those profit share dollars sooner rather than that 3 to 6 month average before somebody has their first closing,
yeah.
Closing, hopefully.
Jamie, could you, I know one of the things that you're expert in is how market centers can get the people to move from interested to signed up to through the class to pass the exam to onboarding at KW. I'm wondering if you can share some best practices from the perspective of the agents that are on here who are looking not just to, frankly, help their market centers grow, but who are personally looking to help their own profit share, because that's why we're doing this. By the way, I like your globe that matches my globe. Can you grab yours?
Let's pretend it's real. I actually did this background just for you and my globe.
That's nice. I like it. Go tell us, how do people get from start to into their first level profit share?
Yeah, and I think, like I think I brought this up earlier, the beauty of KW Prep is it's about building the relationship. And so that's kind of where all of this comes together. And 100%, we're seeing higher engagement and completion rates with students who have more engagement. And I don't necessarily mean the student is engaging more, which they are, but it's if they're having more communication. So whether the K-score admins are reaching out to them regularly or not, we're seeing higher rates on referrals. So Charles referred somebody to the K-score program, and Charles is following up with that person. Charles is saying, hey, I heard you got enrolled. How's it going? Have you started the courses? Because he's got not only the personal connection with the K-score admin, which should be, that follow-up should be happening. We assume that there's a system base. If your market center is not doing that, have them call me. But the people who have a relationship with a referring agent, they've got a second point of contact, which is a second layer of accountability, right?
Right.
Where it's just a relationship. You're not going, hey, are you finishing your courses? You're saying, hey, how's that going? Are you getting ready to launch your career? It's just a relationship. And because you already have, you've already built a relationship likely with this person, whether that is a Facebook lead or your best friend's sister, you have some sort of communicating relationship, and it gives them a little extra layer of support and accountability. And that's really all it is. All getting through K-score is connecting with people. That's all it really takes. 100%, we see higher engagement from people who are having more conversations. So, and the more people they're having conversations with, the higher level of completion and engagement we see. So if your K-score student comes in as a referral and they're talking to this K-score admin, and we connect them to the PC coach halfway through, now they've got 3 different people who they have different questions for, or they feel that support from, that relationship is building with. By the time they get to the end of their courses, they're already part of KW's culture and community because they've engaged in all these different activities. They've come into the office for trainings or team meetings. They're already a part of that, and they don't want to leave that. Why would they leave this place where they felt so included and so much a part of that community? And it's really all about the relationship, Russ.
Got it. Jamie, what else have what else do you want to say that I haven't prompted with a question?
I think the biggest thing for me from an agent perspective is we talk all the time about, my best friend sold a home with somebody else because they didn't know. And K-score kind of has that same feel where it's like, in my head, it's the bold go-to of, would you like to buy a home, sell a home, invest in real estate, or get your real estate education started? It's that much of an opportunity because everyone could be the right fit to be the next person in your profit share tree. When you think about it, all, Jason and Mark and Gary, they were all brand new agents at some point, right? Somebody, in most cases, not so much in Gary's. Gary was like, I'm doing the thing. But in most cases, somebody lit that fuse. Somebody said, hey, maybe you could. And now that person is like, hey, I'm doing, right? They're getting that profit share benefit because everybody started somewhere. And somebody could be the next big person. And you probably know somebody who could be a capper in their first year.
Right. Yeah, I love that. When I became a team leader after, a number of years as an agent, I remember talking to a good friend of mine, and I said, you're still selling real estate. I'm still selling real estate, but now I've got this leadership thing too. And he said something that was really beneficial for me from a profit share perspective. He said, you've got to change your script from who do you know looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate to who do you know that has a real estate need, whether it's buying a home, selling a home, investing in real estate, or getting into the real estate business anywhere on the planet. And when I changed my script to that, it's helped me. I've got about 130 people in my profit share tree all over the world because of just tweaking the script to being a little bit bigger and realizing we are people that help with opportunities in real estate of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of it, Russ, is you didn't have a recruiting conversation with those people. You said, can I help you with a thing? And I think That's all all of us want, right? Agents and leaders, we want to be able to help somebody make their life better. Well, launching a real estate career is a great way to create a huge amount of opportunity for people. You're not trying to sell anything. You're connecting them with a resource that you happen to have. Great. That's the most beautiful thing about what we do is all we do is connect people and build relationships, and it creates this big, beautiful world that we live in. Also, turns out I got mailbox money out of connecting people to the resources I had anyway.
Yeah, awesome. Who's got questions for Jamie? Jamie, we put your email in the chat. I hope you're okay with that.
Awesome. I'll change it just a minute.
Any questions for Jamie?
I have a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Is there, yesterday we had our ALC meeting and reviewing the contributions or the profit share formula. And is there any way to simplify this thing? Because it's great sale, but it's a great proposition that I offer to other brokers in our industry here in Denver. But there's no way, nobody in our room could actually memorize the numbers or memorize any of that. Why is it so complicated?
So you're talking about the 7 levels at that point?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of equated it to the movie Elf, the 7 levels of, you know, when he's going through the Holland Tunnel and the magical forest and all of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take that, Jamie.
Yeah, that's all you.
I'm going to, after we finish with Jamie, I'm going to run through, I think, what might be a little bit easier way to think about it.
Okay, thank you.
And that being said, Guy, some things are just complicated, and this is one of them.
Okay.
So.
Well, I think the nice part is that you don't have to explain all of that. You can make it, you can do the simple version and it still gets the same message across. Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the challenge. Sometimes when somebody asks you what time it is, you explain to them how a Rolex operates. Other times you just tell them what time it is. So I think it has a lot to do with how you choose to answer, rather than like when I talk to I've had probably 4,000 recruiting appointments over the last 13 years with KW. I don't talk about the mechanics of profit share ever. I mean, because it can be simplified down to, we share about half of the profit with our agents. Any other questions? So, other questions for Jamie?
Sorry, one more note about K-Score is we talked about kind of the requirements in Colorado and the opportunities in Colorado, but I do want to be clear that this 100% is a national program. I'm actually working on some Canadian expansion right now, but you didn't hear it from me, of our KW Prep program. There's opportunities across the country. So, you know, if you have family elsewhere who has interest, or friends, we can get you connected. Our website is kscore.kw.com. We've got a magical map, and people can look for their location, right? You just zoom in and you're like, oh, that's where I live. And they can find the market center, the participating market center closest to them. If for some reason you're having trouble, if, you know, maybe Andrew knows somebody in Philadelphia and he doesn't do technology, cool. Shoot me an email, tell me, hey, I've got a guy in Philadelphia. He's interested in K-Score. I am more than happy to connect you to the local people. If you're having any sort of trouble getting that connection made, I am happy to help.
Yeah, awesome. Any other questions for Jamie? All right. Hey, Jamie, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Russ.
All right. You take care. Speaking of what Jamie just shared, I do want to share show you a couple tools that KW just launched. Jamie alluded to this one, which is locations.kw.com. What's nice about this tool is you can find a link to KW leadership anywhere in the country. I'm standing right now in 63017, And when I click on that, my location pops up right there. And I can direct an agent to that. They can fill out a quick form, and that actually pings my team leader down the hallway right away. It actually not only pings them, but creates a card in the team leader and the market center's database, which is really great. Now, if I'm looking to send my recruit to 63017, I'm going to actually go one step further. Before I send them here, I'm going to pick up the telephone and call and speak to the team leader in that market center to make certain that when that team leader connects with my recruit, that I'm the glue that holds it together, because I'm not doing this just for fun. I'm doing this because I would like profit share. So, but this is a really great tool. The other thing that I want to share with you all today is this other website that we've created that's thrive.kw.com. And sometimes, sometimes I feel like we say, hey, we got this great company, but I don't know how to best communicate it. And short of going out and printing brochures, which I would not recommend, thrive.kw.com is everything you ever wanted to know about KW and were afraid to ask. So it's good looking with videos embedded. It's got our story. It talks about our culture. It gives an overview of our training. It dives deep into MAPS coaching. It helps people connect to a community that is relevant to them. It directs them on a journey through our technology, and then it leads them to that conversation about joining. So this is a great place that you could go sitting next to somebody at a coffee shop and say, here's everything you ever wanted to know about KW. It's also a great follow-up if you meet somebody and you just say, hey, for more information about us, here's a link to thrive.kw.com. Make sure you speak to me before you click the join button. And I just say that because, again, I care about you getting your unfair share of profit share. And if someone clicks that without referencing you, that could, like procuring cause, that could result in you not getting the profit share that you're looking for. Jamie, you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that, like you said though, Russ, there's that connection, making sure that, you know, if you're going to refer somebody, that their name is always affiliated with you. So I am also a big fan of the pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm going to have Casey call you before Casey calls, or before you make that connection, or making sure that if I'm going to send over Casey's information in an email, that email comes from me, not from Casey, right? It says, hey, I'm Jamie, and I would like to refer Casey to you for K-Score, or to be a new agent, or maybe they're an R2, whatever that looks like. I think making sure that that person is always affiliated with your name, so that when Russ thinks about Casey, Russ also thinks about me, so that when the profit share conversation comes up, sponsorship is going to be listed under my name.
Yeah, and I'll just say this, and just being really transparent with you know, my friends in Colorado, not all market centers are created equal. Like, I know if I need to send somebody to Arvada, I'm safe handing them off to Charles. That being said, sometimes I ping a market center and say, hey, I've got somebody for you, and they never call me back. And if I've got to chase a team leader or an assistant team leader or a growth director down to handle my freebie recruit, this is probably not going to end well. So I like to just test the waters and see, am I sending these people to a responsive person or a non-responsive person? Yesterday on the regional rally, I shared with everyone that was there that, you know, last month on this coffee and profit share, we had Press McKissick. I spent the $50. Well, it was actually like $200 plus 50. I bought one of those websites. I'm up to 3 people in my profit share tree added since last month, and a 4th one is coming soon. But I'll tell you, it's been some work because, you know, you will text a team leader and you will say, hey, I've got somebody for you. And they may respond back saying, oh, I used to be the team leader there and I'm no longer the team leader. That's happened to me once. The other one is, I'm about to quit, so you should probably find someone else. So, you know, we have to do some, if we're smart about this, if we really care about our profit share, and quite frankly, the people that we're introducing to this company, we may want to do our homework first. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to, I want to get into a little bit to the mechanics of profit share, which we didn't do last month. And also to Guy's question. Guy, ignore what I'm saying right here. I'm going to get to a little easier way to think about this in a minute. This first slide is simply, here's how I would interpret this first slide. Profit share only comes to profit share recipients when the market center is profitable. Sometimes I get calls from people and they say, hey, I didn't get anything. And I'll say, well, let's talk about this. Did you sponsor an agent to the company? Yes, I've sponsored agents to the company. Did they have a sale? Yes, they had a sale. Did their sale result in company dollar or were they capped? It resulted in company dollar. Was the market center profitable? If all of those things aren't true, you're not going to see any profit share. Am I making sense? Guy?
You are making sense, yes.
Okay. This slide just shows us that market centers collect commissions. Market centers pay Keller Williams International. Market centers pay their associates. What is left over after paying franchise fee, after also known as royalty, after paying associates, what's left over is the revenue for the market center, which we call company dollar. Then we pay our bills, which we call approved expenses. And what is left over is profit. Any questions before I go to step 2? When we have profit, the profit is divided between the owners who took a risk and the profit share pool for the associates who helped us grow. Now, we don't need to get into all the mechanics of first level, second level, and third level, but here's what I want you to understand. When market centers are not very profitable, we distribute the profit, the owner profit and profit share heavily in favor of the market center because that's just good business practice. The more profitable a market center is in a given month, the more the distribution moves towards 50-50. Does this make sense? I'm looking at Alea. Thank you for nodding. Now, there is a proposal on the table right now, and it's going to be discussed at Mega Agent Camp to increase these levels so that because these levels were created a couple decades ago. And the one thing that we know is that everything has gotten more expensive. And therefore this system, which used to be, you know, reasonable for owners, has become less reasonable for owners. And that's not fair, we believe. Or at least the proposal states that. But what you need to understand is that for profitable market centers, roughly 52% of the profit goes to owners who took a risk, and roughly 48% goes to associates who helped us grow. Does anybody have any questions about step 2? Guy, can you give me a critique? Are we okay so far?
We're okay so far.
Step 3. No, I'm skipping step 3. In favor of this slide. And I think, Guy, this is helpful for you. This shows profit share versus company dollar for the last 3 years. This is Keller Williams International. In the year 2020, we shared $168 million. And we shared $168 million during a time period where market center revenue, the money we got to spend, company dollar, was about $1.1 billion. In 2020, that means that profit share was about 16% of revenue. Give me a thumbs up if you got what I just said. Okay. In 2021, we shared about $190 million when our revenue was about $1.1 billion. And that's about 17% profit share as compared to company money. In 2022, which was a funky year, right? Like the first half of the year was like just like 2021, but maybe a little better. And then the second half of the year was just like today. We only shared 13% of our revenue. I like looking at it this way, Guy. Every market center shares a percentage of the money that they bring in and get to keep. Historically, it has been around 16%. Last year, it was a little bit lower. KWRI historically runs at approximately 34% profit margin, and we distribute about 16% of total revenue back to our agents. So 34% represents owner profit plus profit share. 16% represents just profit share. That is the historical picture. Your market center is probably different than that because this is an average, which means that exactly half of the market centers are higher than this, and exactly half of the market centers are lower than this. Here's the key thing that I think is important for us as people that care about profit share. Here's the important thing to share. In most companies, the owners decide how to spend the profits. So if I own a business and it's December 15th, and my accountant says to me, Russ, great news. About 34% of the revenue turned into profit. What do you want to do with the money? And I say, awesome. We're going to have a terrific Hanukkah party this year for all of our associates, and everyone's going to love it. It's a great way to spend all that profit. And then half of my people say, well, I don't celebrate Hanukkah. And the other half of the people say, well, I celebrate Hanukkah, but I don't want to come to your party. We're having our own party. And then some of the people are like, that's the best idea I ever heard. Keller Williams is different. We say, let's give about half of the profit to the agents, and they can have their own Hanukkah parties, Christmas parties, Kwanzaa parties, whatever parties that no parties. They can do whatever they want to. I used to work for this company, And my boss used to take us on a cruise if we met goals, if we had enough profit, if we got to the end there, he would say, great, we get to go on a cruise. And I would think, oh, so I worked my butt off all year and I won all those awards and now I have to go on a cruise with you, right? KW says, instead of letting the owners decide how to spend the profits, we're going to let the agents decide. I've been grateful for this as a KW person because I got to send my oldest to the college of her choice, and KW profit share paid for it, which is really awesome. Number two decided to go to her college of her choice, and it's so expensive that it doesn't cover it anymore, but that's a different story, and that's my problem. Does this make sense, everyone? Guy, if I were you, I would look at this, profit share versus company money, and this, total profit versus profit share, and the cultural piece behind it. You get to decide what to do with the money instead of us. And then we disperse the money. And the way we disperse it is we disperse it to we disperse it up 7 layers of distribution. Now, this gets really frustrating for some, but here's what I want you to see in this. If you bring someone directly into the company, you get the lion's share of the profits. This encourages you to go out and spread the good news of KW. And then it dips real low for your grand sponsees and your great grand sponsees and your great great grand sponsees. It dips down to these really low numbers so that it can begin to get bigger again. The 50% encourages you to get into action. The 7 layers encourages you to stay with the company for a long time. That's why it's 50 and 7 layers. Because it gets really fun down here, and that's going to happen 15 years from now.
That's where it's at.
Whoever said that's where it's at is 100% right. I just didn't want to dangle the preposition. So how do you get involved? Well, you think about how much profit share would you like to make? In this example, 12,000. Well, if your profit share factor is that 0.16, and you take the 12,000 that you would like and divide it by 0.16, and then by a half because 50% to the sponsor, that means you've got to go find $150,000 of company dollar. Now, what's the cap in Colorado?
18.
18. So you got to go find 9 people. So, am I making sense here? Debbie's nodding, Sarah's nodding. Casey, am I making sense? You can say no. Casey Fogelman. So let me say this, a couple things that I see as challenges for profit share. I just shared an example where if you want to make 12 grand a year with an $18,000 cap and 16% of company money going into profit share, you've got to find 9 people who are capping agents and get them in your first level. Well, Charles is an excellent team leader, and he strikes out 3 times 3 out of every 4 times he goes to bat. And that's as a great team leader. Because the reality is the best of the best team leaders at KW have to meet with 4 cappers to get 1 to say yes. So the way you win the profit share game is you send your team leader, assuming they're as great as Charles, you send them 4 cappers a month if you want to get 1 to say yes a month. Because every time you send them 4, you should get 1. Most of us don't think about the conversion ratios here. And it's important to do that. Otherwise, it leads to discouragement because you say, hey, I sent Charles a name and he didn't recruit him. Well, that's going to probably happen 3 times before he gets a yes. The best way you can do this is make certain that whenever you go to your market center for an event, you bring a co-op with you. Whenever you go to a KW Colorado event, like next Wednesday from 9 to noon at the PPA Center, when we have the listing master, what is it called, Kelly? The listing masterclass?
Masterclass.
Which is from 9 to noon at the PPA Center. It's $49. Bring somebody with you because they will sit next to you and they will say, my company doesn't do great classes like this where people get up on stage and share their best practices for everyone to hear. And then you say, well, you know, I understand that your company doesn't do that, but we do this all the time. Why don't you sit down with Charles and he can explain to you how you can join our company. You just bring somebody with you to all of these events. That's how it gets done. Who's got questions? By the way, Kelly put a link in the chat for that sign up for the masterclass.
Andrew and I both did. We were both on it.
Look at you guys.
Guy, you have a
So-
question?
Yeah, Ross, so once again, I'll ask the awkward question. Obviously, I'm going to try to recruit everybody in Colorado to my market center because it's the best one. But outside of Colorado, when I'm referring somebody to a market center, is there a way that I can find out, or can I legitimately ask, are you or have you been a profitable market center?
You know, do you invest in the stock market, Guy?
Yes,
Before you buy a stock, do you check it out?
yes.
Yeah, if you're whether it's investing in the stock market or choosing a significant other or figuring out what school to send your kids to, it's always best to do your homework.
I hear you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question, Russ. I believe that said homework is available on our open book company through the report section of MyKW, right? Like, so if you wanted to do your homework, you may not have to ask that awkward question. You can do something.
Yeah, I don't know what's available to agents anymore. I mean, when you get into other roles, you get permissions. Here's what I do know, Guy. Your team leader can definitely see financials for every market center. I don't think they can see trend reports, but they can definitely see financials. So I might go to my team leader.
Thank you.
I can tell you this, people like Aaron Kaufman and Brett Mitchell and Press McKissick, they ask, what's your profit share factor? I mean, because just like, let's cut to the chase. Tell me what your profit share factor is, because if I have the choice between sending you to this market center or the one that's 3 miles down the road, and it's not always the biggest, and it's not always the most profitable, because profit share is a ratio excuse me, the profit share factor is a ratio between company dollar in and profit share out. It could be a very small, seemingly less profitable market center. It's about input and output. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for being on this call.